Great, how are you?
Hi there.
I'm good.
We have a third host.
Yes, we do.
Sit tight. Whether you're 30,000 feet in the air or all cramped up in a small seat, finally getting off the plane, it could be so hard on the body when you're flying. Aches, pains, the prolonged air, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It just could be a mess for our joints.
I know, you feel just super stiff, right? Well, lucky for us, our next guest is a physical therapist and a fitness coach at Moment Physical Therapy and Performance, Dr. Andy Fata-Chan. He's joining us with some easy stretches to do for our next trip. So welcome, doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here.
Okay, so what are some of the common complaints that you hear for air travel?
Well, there's two things that we really get, right? When people are traveling for a really, really long time, you kind of mentioned it, 30,000 feet in the air, could be hours on a plane.
Yeah.
The two main things that we get are tightness in the hip and then tightness in the lower back.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's even doing the show. I sit for 3 hours here.
Right.
I feel that same kind of stiffness trying to get up.
And there's just when you're traveling in a plane, chances are you're going to be in a very narrow seat. And if you're on a couch, you get to sprawl out a little bit more. You get a little bit more space to move. So that's the main thing that we see. It's people have pain in the hips and the lower back because when you're cramped up, you need a lot of mobility and flexibility in the hip in order to get there.
Right, because you're like at a 90-degree angle for extended periods of time.
Exactly. In order to get your knees closer to your chest like this, your glutes have to have mobility.
Yeah.
And if you're more of like a wider stance, if you're getting in a narrow stance, you'll need more internal rotation at the hip.
I see.
And those are two things.
So it's not just important to stretch afterwards, you should stretch beforehand. So what are some of the pre-travel stretches that you can show us?
Give us a little 5, 6,
So
7,
the
8.
first stretch is going to be called the kickstand deadlift.
Okay.
All we're going to do is we're going to put our right leg forward and our left leg back. Keep a soft knee at the right leg.
Okay.
And from there, you're just going to move the hips directly behind you, keeping the knee exactly where it's at. You should feel a stretch in that back pocket.
Yep. Oh, that feels good.
And then you're going to come up from there.
Can I just stay here?
Yeah.
You
I feel
could,
a pinch over here.
Oh, if you feel a pinch, you go widen the stance a little bit. And you're just going to go back down, and you're looking for that stretch in the glutes and the hips. Because this is the same position your hip is going to be in when you're sitting.
Oh, I see, I get it.
And we should do this before we even get on the flight.
Well, you can do it before, but if this is something that's really feeling like a stretch, I would recommend a couple of weeks in advance to make sure that you're actually getting some long-term changes.
I better plan a trip so I can plan my pre-flight stretches.
That'd be amazing.
Okay. And what's the next thing we're doing?
So the next thing that we're doing, it's called a staggered stance hip airplane. And we'll bring the other leg forward just to give the other leg a break. And all we're gonna do here, the first one was working on the glutes. This one works on a rotation a little bit more. You're gonna keep your hands on our hip. We're gonna open up this way.
Ooh.
And then we're gonna cross past midline. Again, this is where you might feel the stretch.
Oh, that's
Take a deep breath there, let the muscles ease up. Ooh, that gets tight.
Yeah.
Open up one more time.
Now I'm realizing how stiff I really am.
I know.
With these exercises,
Oh, wow, that feels great.
Yeah, 8 to 10 reps, a couple of sets before you get on, and it really just starts to open up the hips.
It's like a good pre-show
Hazel,
stretch.
and I would do this on there's always a line in the bathroom on the airplane. While I'm waiting online.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, my clients are always doing this stuff on a coffee line when they're waiting for the coffee. They just get some hip mobility in there.
Fantastic. All right, we've taken the flight. Oh, do we have another pre?
We have another one in pre.
Let's do it.
It's a little bit floor-based, so we're gonna lay on the ground here.
Oh, are we? You do modified.
I will be watching.
You do modified.
Oh,
I like this one.
Lay on your side, and all you're gonna do is you're gonna lift the back leg up this way, and then you can also lift it the other way.
Oh, okay.
And we're just gonna work rotations, but you're gonna get internal rotation this way and external rotation that way.
Oh my gosh, that's
and this
lovely.
is the same thing. If this is really tight on one side compared to the other, I would definitely work on the problematic side.
All right, let's do the post-travel.
Post-travel.
Now we've landed. Where did we fly to, Hazel?
Oh, it's beautiful here.
All right, we're in Greece. It's fantastic. Now what do we do?
So when we're traveling, one of the things that we're exposed to is just this position all the time. Our hip flexors get really tight, and our back is in a more flexed position. And this could be for hours. So the first thing that we do when we get off the flight is we just get our extension of the lower back. So we're gonna lay on our stomach.
You stay.
Lay on my stomach.
Very common yoga pose.
No, okay, I thought we were doing push-ups for a second.
And you're just gonna be on your forearms, lifting your chest off the yoga mat. And this, for some people, might feel like not much of a stretch. If that's okay, you can cup it to your palms. And you're just taking deep breaths here. And this is starting to feel like a big stretch for me right now,
Me
too.
too, me too, me
But-
too.
Do not do this in the airplane's
Yes.
aisle.
No, that would be gross.
I would wait until you get back to a hotel room or check into your Airbnb.
This is fantastic. And then you could do a little downward dog if you want to get fancy from
Oh,
there.
for sure.
Unbelievable.
So
we're doing one more.
oh,
one
we got-
more.
we got
a
one more
minute
here.
left. One more.
Yeah.
One more.
So the next thing we're gonna do is just the reverse Nordic. First one was for the back extension.
Okay, yep.
This
Yep.
one is for the hip flexors.
Okay.
Hands by your side. Pull the belly button up towards your chin. Get the core brace, and then you're just gonna slowly lean back. Amazing. That looks great. And come forward. And you should feel a nice stretch in your quad and your hip flexors.
I do.
But those are two things that I would definitely recommend because we want to reverse that sitting posture that we've been in for hours.
Unfurl yourself from
Exactly.
all the sitting.
Great tips.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to do it after the show.
That's right. Thank you for joining us. For more information about Dr. Andy Fata-Chan, visit dr.andy. It's all there on the
Fata-Chan.
screen. Unbelievable. Yeah, take a great picture too, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so
Great to
much.